Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and this morning I'm looking at a book from Spiramus. I've reviewed a few of their books before. They're a specialist firm of publishers dealing with legal and taxation matters, and they're always of great interest to look at because of the way in which they present what are very technical subjects in a relatively easy to read manner. The book I'm looking at this morning is this book. It's called The Tax Schedule, A Guide to Tax Warranties and Indemnities, and it's written by Eile Gibson, if I pronounce that name correctly. Now, the title we've given the work, the actual book, is Attention Tax Practitioners and Advisors, Common Sense Guidance on Untangling the Tax Schedule in Commercial Sales Transactions, and there's an accompanying CD. This is the book itself. The CD is actually in the cover there. That's the little blurb on the back, and you can see the book is very much the type of publication we have from Spiramus. There are useful footnotes at the bottom, and you can see that again we have the nice paragraph numbering at the sides, which makes it a lot easier to find the various pieces of information. There is an index at the back, which again is quite useful. I always think the indexes could do with a bit of expansion, frankly, because they are very important for us when we're in a hurry looking for things. Then you've got standard types of appendices, and there are a lot of them. I think there are 13 altogether, 12 or 13. That's the start of it, and you can see it's about 2/3 the way through the book. And the book itself, as I say, it has a number of authorities listed at the beginning, plus the table of index of contents. And then you've got what I think is a very useful glossary, because we are into terminology here in a big way, so the glossary goes on for some considerable time. Then we start in the transactional process itself concerning the tax schedule. Well, what's the book about? Well, the book is about something which you, if you're a tax lawyer or an accountant, or advising someone in some capacity or other in matters involving the sale of a company and are concerned with negotiating the tax schedule, this book from Spiramus is for you. And I think this should be added to your library because it certainly is a very authoritative guide on what the actual position is. From what we can gather, having perused this book and also not being tax specialists ourselves, the matter of the tax schedule can be confusing to the point of being impenetrable. And that's been the problem with a lot of tax matters over a long period of time, and we have been promised, as you well know, lots of clarity, but that hasn't really happened. So a guide to the process and the procedure as provided by expert author Gibson is certainly timely and should prove invaluable, especially in the wake of the Finance Act 2011. And as I record this, the budget's just been delivered, and we're going through the new Finance Bill 2012 at the moment. And as the publishers point out, the new legislation contained in the Finance Act 2011 has generated changes, all of which need to be reflected in the tax schedule itself, the purpose of which is to determine where responsibilities and risks will occur once the sale or purchase transaction is completed. And so what the book does is it explains the key provisions of the tax schedule and their underlying rationale, together with long form and short form warranties and tax indemnities, and they're also obviously included in the disc there, which I think is extremely helpful. As a research tool, I think the book certainly excels because it contains, as it does, in fact it's 14 appendices, which include such aids as the long form and short form tax schedules themselves, time limits, penalties, and so on. It's written by an acknowledged expert. Spiramus, in fact, come up with good titles in this complex field, so I'd like to thank all the people concerned for producing this guide to the tax warranties and indemnities. It's a great thing to have in your library if you deal with this particular area of law. So thanks to all concerned. Bye bye.